You might be surprised to know that there is a lot to learn from Shakespeare on how to help people. As clinicians, we have dedicated so much of ourselves to building skills that improve other people's lives. So let me spell out here exactly what skills we can take from Shakespeare and his work to better master our own jobs. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his golden complexion dimmed. And every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. William Shakespeare's Sonnet 18 is one of the most famous love poems in history, but its relevance to us is for more than just its musings on love. What made Shakespeare's work so highly praised during his lifetime and the centuries since was his ability to grab meaningful elements of our humanity and stretch them to dramatic lengths. He made readers of his poetry and audiences to his plays hyper-aware of human sensations, experiences, and values. A dark example, Shakespeare highlighted the influence of ambition in his play Macbeth, something we all might have to reconcile with, and Shakespeare exaggerates that ambition, the same ambition we might all know, to something so large and unmanageable that it drives one of the play's characters, Lady Macbeth, to murder and gives way to an uncontrollable paranoia in the main character, Macbeth. Here in this infamous sonnet, he puts us face to face with the yearning for an eternity to the objects of our infatuated love. Whomever the poem is addressing, he says this person's brilliance is greater and more persistent than the seasons and nature are capable of. Human experiences are endlessly complex, and often individuals have difficulty giving words to the internal processes that guide how they feel and behave. Shakespeare captures in this poem the bigness we can feel about someone, how we can measure their beauty and our love for them as near infinite. He even draws on the fear of temporariness. Just as short as summers can feel, the youth we have and the radiance of our love, all can expect to give way to time. But Shakespeare ends the poem saying that right now, with these words in this poem itself, this person will never lose their beauty and will never truly die. We, as solution-focused clinicians, are not necessarily poets, but the moments we share with clients are similar to the distilled snapshots that a poem can enclose. And just as similarly, the words that are exchanged in those moments are what ignite the impact of change in our clients. Shakespeare's skillful ability in his literature, finding and stretching the most significant passions and motivations of his audience members, is nearly the same task that this approach calls us to. Through our conversation with them, what is most significant to the client should carefully be revealed, all in its relevance to their desired outcome. And then through a very rich description and making effective use of the client's own language, we stretch those things to touch on all the many ways they can change the client's life. We don't have to talk to our clients about romantic infatuation and how big it can feel, like Shakespeare does here in this poem. But just like an expert poet, we do often find ourselves engaging in a very meaningful conversation about the bigness of hope, of confidence, of peace, of happiness, and all the many other things clients tell us they would like to see. Clients might not already have the words for these outcomes, but through the kinds of interactions we have with them, they will certainly find what is meaningful and come to describe the differences those things will make. Shakespeare knew his love cannot actually live forever, but he also knew that the words he wrote here could create an immense impact in the world or in just one specific person. This romantic exchange between two people couldn't have possibly extended the length of their lives or perfectly preserved the moment that they shared. But surely these words grew their feelings and guided them to wherever that intensity of admiration and love can take a relationship. That tells me there's a lot we as clinicians can learn from Shakespeare about our words.